Hello, nerd community. What's going on? This is Daniel, aka Fat Chow, with the my three other buddies, the of the original Four Horsemen of the Eternal Talk podcast. We have Hector, say hi.
What up?
Travie Boy,
What's good?
CJ, say something sexy.
You're
He did it the Brooklyn way. Um, so we're gonna engage something what we call the GOAT series, where we talk about all things that we've known in terms of nerd culture, pop culture, and fuse it together and just put a nice little head-to-head match versus each other and debate and see where it would align. Now, granted, there's four of us, so there might even be just like a little split decision there happening, but we'll see if it actually occurs that way. Because as you've heard us before, we are very opinionated in our own ways. Um, to start off, the first topic is going to be Zombieland versus Shaun of the Dead. Which one was the better zombie movie? Um,
Yeah, anybody can go first.
anybody?
um, I'm gonna start off. I think Shaun of the Dead was kind of like one of those movies. It was like when that type of like British humor, like British comedies, were starting to like come to the United States, and I think it was like it was like really unique for the fact of not only was it a comedy, like a British comedy, but it was like a zombie take on it, and I thought that was really unique. Zombieland, Zombieland came a little later on. Um, and it was, I think it worked because of the cast and crew, and like everybody who was involved in that movie. Like the cast just really made that movie work. Um, I I think we should go and talk about like the pros and cons of each movie. Um, you can take somebody else can take the wheel from here.
Sure. Um, well, to preface my argument, I really feel bad that I haven't watched Shaun of the Dead recently in a while. So I'm going off of quite a few years ago's memory, and of course the love and adoration Hector has for the movie. But Trav, you said a lot of key things that was dope about the movie. Like it was with the whole British appeal it had to it. I think it was one of the earlier movies where we got that humor with the British kind of appeal, which was good, and it was also in a horror film, which I liked. And then that same humor though was what you have in Zombieland. I really like Zombieland just because of like from cameos with Bill Murray to the humor and the rules, the whole double tap, the whole no bathrooms. Like I thought Zombieland is just humor filled fun. I'm a little sucker for some of the cast as well. I mean, even when they brought Rosario Dawson, I feel like we've been talking about Rosario Dawson a lot recently in part two. I enjoyed that, and it's cool to get that in. I mean, it's now cool to be funny with horror. I think it has been for a while, but these are some movies that started that a while back. And you know me, I always look at like plot. How was the plot? You know, how did the film impact you personally, and like did it stay true to its element? If it's action, did it bring action? This was horror but comedy. Did it bring enough horror comedy? That's how I'd go ahead with rating them ultimately.
So I'm unanimously with Shaun of the Dead. My reason being is because of the fact that you can watch that movie and still find little things here and there that you didn't previously think about before. There's with Edgar Wright films, there's always little things that are always hidden or suggested to. There's a lot of things that you can take away from that film, watch it multiple times. With Zombieland was funny, and I think that's all that it really had for it. It was funny. There was good action, but overall, I don't think that it as the same level as Shaun of the Dead. Just because Shaun of the Dead was smart, it didn't. It brought something new to to zombies in general.
You know.
Where
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bud. Finish your.
I don't think Zombieland brought anything new, but just it brought it into like if Zombieland came out right now, which it already has Zombieland 2, would it made a difference?
It brought the rules, bro.
Yeah.
No,
The,
no.
I
But
was gonna. Uh,
I'm saying if Zombieland 2 came out, did anybody
no, we're
enjoy?
not. We can't use Zombieland 2. We have to stick to the first one because Shaun of
okay,
the Dead have a sequel.
No, what I'm saying is if Zombieland came out right now, would it have made a difference?
That's irrelevant,
No,
bro.
no, like the
yeah,
first
I
Zombieland.
don't, I
That's
don't follow
irrelevant.
you.
I feel like Shaun of the Dead would have been great no matter what time it came out in.
I
This
don't think I
we
don't think Shaun I don't think Shaun of the Dead would do as well now. The market is zombies are beat to death, bro. Zombies are like fucking beat to death. They OD'd on it. It came out at the perfect time when like with like Dawn of the Dead when all that fucking hype was like coming out. Everybody wanted to do zombie this, zombie that. I don't think it would do well now. But I see what you're saying. It was very unique. It was very unique, but we had to stick. We had to stick to the current the timeline. We had to stick to that timeline, like
Hmm,
when it came out and how it affected the masses during that time.
hmm.
I say Shaun of the Dead is the better of the two films.
What's the time? How much time we got left
We
for this
still
podcast?
got 8 minutes left.
Okay, I am torn just because I thoroughly enjoyed both of those movies. I really like Zombieland because of the rules and because I think Jesse Eisenberg depicted a person like this really nerdy dude who like and he played himself in the movie like obviously but I think it showed how a person who you would think would like not really be do that well during a zombie apocalypse would probably end up thriving in a zombie apocalypse just because he had the brains and forethought to do planning and to make sure he stayed stuck to this set of rules to get him to that point. So I think Zombieland was smart because of that, and it showed throughout the movie when they didn't stick to the fucking rules how things turned to shit. Like when they fucking linked up with not what fucking Little Rock and what's the other homegirl's name?
Wichita, was it
Wichita.
Wichita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they they just kind of fucked them over like time after time, and they kept coming back for him. Obviously because it was the love interest, but it just
Yeah.
showed how like you can really get fucked up if you don't stick to your rules during that time. Shaun of the Dead, however, it was just so clever in the fact that like of course like they brought all these new elements that like American comedies didn't have at the time, and it kind of brought like their own little charm to the survival horror genre, and it was more a lot more actiony than it. It was funny as fuck, but there was a lot more gore and shit in Shaun of the Dead. Um, I I think if I had to pick just the one that made the most impact, I would have to say Shaun of the Dead made the better impact,
Hmm.
even though Zombieland was like a fucking brilliant film. I just don't think it had the level of impact that Shaun of the Dead had. Like I think they had because they were riding that wave for a while. You know what I'm saying? They came out. I think Hot Fuzz came out a little bit after Shaun of the Dead, or did Hot
Yeah.
Fuzz first?
Yeah. Hot Fuzz was second in the little
Okay.
trilogy. Then
Yeah.
World's End, right? Heck.
Yep.
So I think like that shit came out and they rode the wave of that, and I think it was just very clever and it was good. It was good timing and just uh, I'm just gonna say, in my personal opinion, I'm gonna vote Shaun of the Dead just for that fact alone, but not discrediting Zombieland by any means. Zombieland was a phenomenal film.
All right.
Danny?
So just so I can say the score, CJ, you side with which movie as your favorite?
I gotta go with Zombieland, man. Got to.
Okay. All right, Dan, balls in your court.
So the reason why I initially just said, "Hey, let's match up Zombieland versus Shaun of the Dead," is because they're in fact two good zombie movies that you watch in October around this season, and they're both also very different. For instance, Zombieland, I feel like you're playing a game. you're learning about the survival rules and you're playing it with the cast as your group grows. And now it's just, you and three other players, which meaning a 4-player game, have to survive in this world being swarmed by, a big ass wave of zombies at a carnival. You're basically just played a level in Zombies Call of Duty for me when we watched Zombieland. It was like nice, invigorating. You got to watch it. Put a little bit of plot. Plot didn't really matter. It's all of everything else really counted. Now, Shaun of the Dead, the guy basically tried to save the world and protect himself inside of a bar. The plot of that is just fucking the dumbest thing that I find it to be so genius at the same time. Like, dude went all across his entire town just to save his mom, his girlfriend, and his friend, just to bring him to a bar and actually shack up there. And in any case of survival versus Zombieland, you wouldn't do something like that. Like, you're not gonna go check up at a bar thinking it's gonna protect yourself. But somehow, for Shaun of the Dead and their British humor, it did. And that's the reason why, even as a movie being much older, you still have to reference it to any type of comedic zombie movie that's ever gonna come out. You're gonna be like, was it Shaun of the Dead good? So obviously, my pick is going to be Shaun of the Dead, but I do believe that out of you know mostly every other comedic zombie-like movie or TV show or you know just quick episodes on something on a series. Zombieland holds a nice big solid candle after all of that. Personally, for the comedic route, not for the actual horror.
All right. So that puts Shaun of the Dead with 3 votes and Zombieland with 1 vote. So Shaun of the Dead is the winner of this round.
Ding 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 ding.
Do they know why though? Did they hear? They got to hear Trav and me.
Yeah, because I'm just going to make my movie magic and edit it all together. So I'm gonna put last file and this file together.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Damn right.
Then that shit-
Okay.
Uh,
So for our next topic, it's going to be everyone would think every topic of this discussion would be a little bit like one sided, but sometimes you got to get down to discuss certain things and then put your own perspective. And this one would be between who would be the better
time.
vampire slayer.
Time. Let me stop this and record that as